Okay then, so it's another one of those Let's Talk Mordheim episodes. Now, we've done all the stuff that I initially thought that I wanted to do, but there's been a request to do a little segment for each of the warbands on Mordheim. So basically it's going to cover the 1A section, which will be all the G-dubs legal warbands, but we'll see what we'll do after we're done with that. So first off, we're going to kick it off with the it'll be five human warbands, putting Kislev aside because they're even more different from the other five. So with that said, let's take a look. Alright, so I'm going to admit I don't know all the warbands by heart. That's going to be difficult because there's a ton of warbands on Mordheim. So I got my computer here, so I'm going to do a little cheating by scrolling up and down and just taking a look at stuff while I talk to you guys. So we're going to kick it off with Reikland, Middenheim and Marienburg and take a look at those warbands and the rating of them, how I would place them, and their special rules and what sets them apart. Okay, so all these warbands that we're going to be talking about both today and for the rest of however long this series will be, you'll find them all on broheim.net. Just go to that and go under warbands. There you will find everything you need for the warbands in question. So we're going to start off with Reikland. Their special rule is that they use the leader's leadership within 12 instead of 6. Now, I'm going to cover that one first. So it's situational because there's not often where I find myself using the leader's leadership anyway, but that might also have to do with the way that we play our Mordheim games, because we've designed scenarios and additional things you can do in Mordheim that spreads everybody out. So it's a rare occasion where someone actually is within the leader's leadership range and can use it. So it's a nice ability. I won't say it's game-changing. It is nice to have. The second one they have is that they have +1 ballistic skill to all their marksmen. Now the marksmen are henchmen, so they will be upgraded from a 3 to a 4, and that for henchmen is really good because henchmen can only upgrade their statistics once until they become a hero if they get Lad's Got Talent, and a ballistic skill 4 on henchmen. That is probably one of the better additional rules you will get, because ranged in Mordheim is at a disadvantage versus melee. You can't change my opinion about this because that's the way it is, because there's so many negatives to hitting, and shooting weapons in general are just strength 3 or 4, whereas melee can get much worse. But having a ballistic skill of 4 means you hit on a base of 3, and they can up that to a 5, which if they get a skill roll, or a statistic roll, and they will be at ballistic skill 5, which means they hit on 2, whereas most other henchmen will peak out at hitting on a 3 on a base. So for that special rule, I would absolutely give it a thumbs up, and I would give it a minus. Now, the Middenheimers, they have one special rule that sets them apart. It's that their champions and captains start with a strength 4 instead of 3. Again, this is a very nice upgrade. Any upgrade to your starting statistics is a good one. I would argue that it's better if it's on the henchmen, since they have a very limited selection of what they can level up. But still, on heroes, it's also good, especially though if it is strength or toughness, because Mordheim is it can turn into a very melee-centric game, and having a higher strength, which also then reduces the armor, which in Mordheim is from non-existent to low, is a very good thing, because it reduces your opponent's ability to actually do an armor save, and it increases your chances of wounding them. So for the Middenheimer, for the captain and champions, for a starting strength of 4 instead of 3, I will give it a strong B+. Then we have the Marienburgers, the rich kids of the old world and Mordheim. They have two special rules. One is that they get a +1 bonus when searching for rare items when they're out trading and shopping. It's a nice thing. Also, it's situational, but in general, at least if you play the games the way we do, we usually always end up searching for a lucky charm as one of the first things we do. Now, it's fairly easy to find, but there are other items that's more exclusive, and having that +1 is always a nice bonus. So, B-, I mean, it's good, but it's not game breaking. What is game breaking is getting 100 more gold. Now, we just finished a series of battle reports where we had Marienburgers versus the High Elves, Shadow Warriors, sorry. And the Marienburgers really, they got ahead because of how much gold they had and could invest in number of models and equipment for their warband versus the Shadow Warriors, getting it right, Shadow Warriors who are, they're costly, equipment is expensive, so numbers and quality of equipment really took its toll quickly in that series. So for the 100 gold extra to start a campaign, I will give it a solid A. So all these three mercenary warbands, they base their entire warband off the same list of heroes and henchmen. So you go create your warband, and then you pick whatever of the factions you want. Obviously, if you want Marienburgers, you have 100 extra gold, so you got to keep that in mind. Other than that, everything else is the same. A little bit of variation on the skill tables. Reikland, Middenheim, and Marienburg, they have a little differences, or a few differences on what kind of skills the different heroes can take. Again, nothing I would call a game changer for any of them. What's nice is that the captain across the board has access to all the skills that are available for the base warband, so no special skills for those, but they have access to all the other categories. Not going to take a big look at equipment and weapon and armor and stuff like that because it's the same for all of them. When it comes to the heroes, let's start there. Mercenary captain is 60 gold. He starts with a movement, weapon skill, and ballistic skill of 4, strength, toughness of 3, wounds of 1, initiative of 4, attacks 1, and leadership is 8. Now, this is the same across the board for all of them, though, like I said, one of the warbands, the Middenheimers, they start with strength of 4 as well instead of 3. So that makes him a little bit more powerful in melee, though his survivability with a toughness of 3 is still medium to low. Big fan of toughness 4 and up if I can get my hands on it. But at 60 points, it's a cheapish leader, and he will do what you want him to, and he is made for either ranged or combat. Your champions, they will also start with a strength of 4 if you play the Middenheimers. Weapons, movement and weapon skill of 4, ballistic skill, strength, toughness of 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, attacks 1, and leadership 7. So these are clearly more made for melee fighting with a higher weapon skill, though of course they can also shoot if you want to give them that option. For 35 gold, they're good. I mean, you want them because you want to max out your heroes, but to me they are made more for being a secondary option, like stay a little back, protect the lines, and stuff like that, and countercharge, more use your henchmen for fodder, because you got to buy some equipment for them as well. I would say they're a solid average choice for humans. Mercenary captain, by the way, give him a solid B. Champions, I would put them at a B-. Youngbloods, well, they're junk, but they're supposed to be junk, and you can have 2 of them. They are there to do pretty much one thing, and that is generate gold. With a movement of 4, weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2, so they're not really good because they're just babies. Strength and toughness of 3, 1 wound, 3 in initiative, attacks 1, and leadership 6. So they're not going to survive any worse really because they got the same toughness, but you don't want to be buying too much for them because they're neither good at melee or ranged. If anything, I would give them some sort of bow and keep them in the back so that they survive, hopefully, and generate more income for you. As far as a hero go, they would be a C-. But for what they do, for 15 gold, for generating gold, I would say that they are a solid B+. We then move on to the henchmen, warriors. Now, pretty much across all warbands, or most of them, I feel like 25 gold is the baseline amount you have to pay for something that has this stat line, which is a movement of 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, and toughness of 3, 1 wound, 3 in initiative, 1 attack, and 7 leadership. Now, there's nothing fancy about them. This is your run-of-the-mill warrior that can be equipped with either ranged, melee, and they can fill in pretty much any role that you need. They will neither be good or bad at any of them when you start out. So for that, they will get a B. Yeah. Now we start coming to the good stuff. If I could, I would fill the warband with only these and honestly none of the heroes, but that's not an option. Marksmen. Marksmen start with a movement of 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, and toughness of 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, attacks 1, and leadership 7. Now, for a marksman that has the same ballistic skill as he has weapon skill, is a little weird. But then you take a look at one of the warbands that has the option of increasing that ballistic skill to 4, which would be Reikland. Then we're starting to look at something that's really good. So for the other warbands, I would say that for 25 gold, it is, again, like the regular warrior, it's a B. But when you put them in a Reikland list with an increased ballistic skill that goes up to 4, they are an A-. They are, for a shooty Reikland warband, a auto-include, and you want as many of them as you can. After that, we move on to swordsmen. Now, a little bit more expensive at 35, and you can only have 5 of them. It's probably never going to happen, and depending on the length of your campaign, of course. Movement 4, weapon skill of 4, strength, ballistic skill, strength, and toughness of 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, attacks 1, and leadership 7. They have a skill that they start with that's called Expert Swordsman. They're so skilled that they may reroll any failed hits when charging. That only applies when they are armed with normal swords, not double-handed swords or any other weapons. So obviously there's going to be a sword included, either 1 or 2 or a sword and board. Now for 35 gold, it's decent. You get the +2 weapon skill. You get the extra skill that's included, or the reroll to hit when you charge. But then again, you are dependent on actually charging. I would say that they are a better option for the rich kids of Marienburg, because when you pay 35 gold, that really takes off a chunk of cash that you could have used for other equipment if you just bought warriors. But when you have those 100 extra gold, you can buy your light armor, your sword and board, and your helmet, and suddenly you actually have a tank or a beat stick that you can use to beat someone up. So for the marienburgers, I would give them a solid B. For the other warbands, I would give it a B-. Then we're going to move on to the Averlanders. Okay, so the Averlanders. Now, not much difference when it comes to special rules or skills or stats, but they have different kind of units available to them. We will see some repeats. Again, I'm not going to cover the equipment and stuff like that. Neither will I go through the skills. Like the other warbands, they have access to most of the normal skills. They don't have any specials. So we're going to start at the start. Heroes. He is exactly the same as for the other mercenary warbands. 60 gold with the same stat line. So again, a solid B for that. Sergeant, also still the same, so no change there. Then we come to one of the first different things. It is a Berjäger. At 35 gold, he is basically a champion with a worse weapon skill, but a better ballistic skill. So obviously he is made for shooting. And they can set traps, which is a lot of fun. Now, one thing is rating a warband on their ability to destroy the other guy, because it is a war game and we want to win, obviously, but there is the fun that needs to be included, because I mean, I can walk all over Martin or somebody else that I'm playing with. That's not always just fun, because I mean, I want to have fun, but I want to have the other guy have fun too. Placing bombs and not just going out there to kill and just determining that, all right, if you come here, stuff might blow up, might not, and you might kill me instead by just charging through my mind and, oh, it didn't trigger, is fun. It's not a game-changing thing, I would say. I mean, you can have, let's see here, you can have 2 barriers, so you can, in any one turn, place 2 traps. It could deter your opponent from charging you, and you can manipulate the battlefield a little bit, but it's not going to change the game that much, but it's fun. It's different, and that is a little bit of what Mordheim is about. It's different. So for the point cost of them, at 35 gold, they have a movement of 4, weapon skill of 2, ballistic skill 4, strength and toughness of 3, 1 wound, 3 initiative, 1 attack, and 7 leadership. When we look at the stats, there are special rules, and the equipment that they have access to, which you want to cater toward ranged, I would give them a B for this warband. Fun, a little bit expensive considering they're bad in melee and really can't defend themselves, but plus points for the ballistic skill and the set traps. Then lastly, we have the Youngblood, which is exactly the same as everybody else, only in this warband you can only have 1 of them. So no change in the grade on him. For the Henchman, we come to a couple of new ones, really. We have a Mountain Guard, which is a 5-point more costly warrior, but that comes with an increased weapon skill, so he starts with a weapon skill of 4 instead of 3. Which is absolutely worth that 5 extra gold. So a solid B as well on this for that warband. They can be equipped with the Mountain Guard equipment list, which, again, go take a look at it. It's not fancy, there's nothing new, there's nothing special. They will be your mainstay, probably. Marksman, 25 gold, exactly the same as the other warbands. No bonus to the ballistic skill like one of the other ones had. Same stat line, so again, no change in the grade. Then we come to the Halfling Scouts, which you can have 3 of. They are 20 gold, so they're cheaper. They have a movement of 4, weapon skill, that is 2, ballistic skill of 4, strength and toughness of 2, so you don't want to be in melee with these, and you really don't want to get shot with them either. 1 wounds, 4 initiative, attacks 1, and leadership 8. So the halflings are more psychologically prepared than the humans, go figure. They have a special rule that's called promotion. May not choose strength, because they're not known for being strong. Other than that, stat-wise, I mean, you buy them to shoot. And you want to keep them in the back, so you want to place them in cover, you want to place them at long range. So initially, an average warrior will probably hit them on a base of 4, 5, 6. So they have some survivability, and as a firing base that's not supposed to do much, I will give them a solid B on that one as well. Because you have 1 noob hero less, a Youngblood, and you make up for that by buying Halfling Scouts instead, or in addition. Because for only 5 more points, you get a ballistic skill of 4, which again lets you hit on a 3+. And if they level up, they can possibly hit on a 2+, which is really good. So for the warband in a whole, I would say it's a solid B. Then we move on to the last one and the most colorful bunch of the normal human mercenaries, which is the Ostlanders. I love these guys. Now, they have one special rule and a couple of new equipment slots, or new type of equipment. Their special rules is they don't hire anybody except the ogre, because they earn their gold the hard way, and they love it and they want to keep it. So no spending on outsiders, except ogres, which are apparently common in Ostland. The new stuff is double-barreled pistol. 30 gold and 60 gold for a brace, rare 10. They have a double-barreled hunting rifle, which is 300 gold. I've seen it once in a game since I started playing in 1999. So that was also a very long campaign. So it's not something that you're going to see a lot of, but when you come across it, it sort of hurts because it's a big gun. Other than that, nothing much to write home about when it comes to weapons and equipment. Skill table, they have special skills, so this will be the first warband that includes that. Other than that, they have some, or they have access to everything, but unlike the other human warbands, mercenary warbands, the leader does not have access to academics. That will be for the priest of Taal. We'll get to that. Looking at the Elder, which is the leader of this warband, again, 60 gold, same stat line as the other captains, so nothing changes there. Blood Brothers, 35 gold. Again, this is your champions, just with a different name. No changes to what they have in stats or what they can do with their equipment, so again, nothing changes. Then we have the Priest of Taal, which is the first caster we come across. For 45 gold, you can have one of these. You get a movement of 4, weapon skill 2, a ballistic skill, strength and toughness of 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 1 attack, and leadership 7. He can use the prayers of Taal. We'll take a look at that later. That's his spell list. And he can never wear any heavy armor. Now, good to know is that casters can't wear armor at all, unless they take a skill that says they can. It is available, though some casters do have rules that allow them to wear armor and cast spells. Then we're at the henchmen. You have your basic warriors. In this warband they are called kin. They have the same stat line as warriors for the other warbands, so no change to anything. You have your Jaegers. Now, these will probably be the thing that you will always see in the warband, because you can have up to 7 Jaegers, which is a lot. For 25 gold, they have the same stat line as kin, but they have access to different and I would say better equipment. Of course, that will also, in most cases, make them more expensive, but it gives you more flexibility for your warband. So Jaegers at 25 gold, you get a movement of 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, and toughness of 3, 1 wound, 3 initiative, 1 attack, and 7 leadership. So for that, they get a solid B. You have Ruffins, which is 25 gold. Now, these are pretty much just drunkards that costs the same as the Jaegers and the kin or a warrior. With a worse stat line, they have a movement of 4, weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2, strength toughness of 3, 1 wound, initiative 2, attacks 1, and leadership 10. Now, they have limitations on what kind of equipment they can have. They are drunk, so they always pass leadership tests because they couldn't care less. And they can never become a warband leader. Now, the drunk bit, that they automatically pass leadership tests, very situational. You would come across that when it comes to fear, terror, all alone, probably a couple of other things that I can't remember right now, but it's very situational. Considering how much worse they are stat-wise compared to the points and the other things that you can buy, I would not use them at all unless I need to fill out the warband with them for some reason, or if I know I'm going into a scenario that requires leadership tests, because obviously you would take them because they pass automatically. But for what they do for 25 points, I would say that these gentlemen are a C. Lastly, they can actually have an ogre as a part of their starting warband at 160 gold. It's a big guy. So the ogre gives you a movement of 6. It has a weapon skill of 3, ballistic skill of 2, strength and toughness of 4. He has 3 wounds, 1 initiative, 2 attacks, and leadership 7. He is a large target, so it increases your warband rating by quite a bit. He causes spear. The skills he has access to if he becomes a hero is combat and strength. And he is slow-witted, which means he earns experience in half rates. So for killing, if he becomes a hero, for instance, you need to kill 2 to get 1. He needs to pick up 2 wordstone to get 1, etc. Now, he has access to the ogre equipment list, which is, it's decent. It is what it is. For 160 points, I mean, if you do this mathematically, it's not worth it. But if you do it for fun, which is the way you should go, and for the intimidation factor, oh yeah, absolutely. 160 point is a big chunk of money, but for something that has higher toughness, higher strength, many wounds, and can have access to a fairly decent armor save and is difficult to injure, at least to begin with, it's a nice scare tactics and it will draw attention. So if you buy him, be prepared to have him peppered, because people will either do one of two things actually. They will try to run away from him, which in most cases they can't because of his high movement, or they will focus fire and try to kill him. So make sure that you try to get him hidden or behind some kind of cover if you can. Just limit how much you can get shot at. With that said, for 160 gold and what he brings to the table, I would give him a solid B+. So the special skills for the Ostlanders, we're just going to go through them quickly and then just talk a little bit about it. I'm going to start at the bottom because the first one is actually really cool. So we have Blood Oath. Basically, that is re-roll once per game, and that is for the leader. So it basically gives you 1 re-roll once a game. It is what it is. Animal Friendship. Warrior excludes a certain charm. Animals will never attack him, and up to 2 war dogs. He can hire 2 war dogs. That does not count towards the warband's maximum number. So he can. That is actually pretty good. Taunt. The warrior must be able to see the enemy. Taunting follows the line of sight rules for shooting. Enemy then takes a leadership test. If he passes, nothing happens, but if he fails, he must use his movement phase trying to get into close combat with the warrior who taunted him. I like that a lot. That is a very good rule because it could potentially save a warrior and just pull the guy away. Nice one to have. Foul Odor. Let's see here. He stinks of more than just sweat. All living enemies, not undead and possessed, are at -1 to hitting him in close combats. Though fire attacks against him is at +1 strength, because there's a high risk of his clothes and stuff catching fire because he's soaked with flammables. Yes, I like it because there's, again, something I don't see often enough. People using torches, flaming attacks, stuff like that. Spells also have access to this, by the way. There's a couple of spells that is flaming. I like it, but it could be a hazard, so use it wisely. Now the fun one is Bull Rush. Basically, instead of using your attacks, you charge. You make 1 attack with +1 to hit. If you hit, you do not do a 2 roll wound. The opponent is just knocked down. Very good rule. If you just have a lot of models surrounding someone, or actually just need 1 for that matter, because this can only be taken by a hero, obviously. You put that on, you charge, you knock him down, next model in line just has to wound, and whatever you're hitting is taken out of action. So that is really nice. But that's not what makes this so cool. The cool part is, and I'm going to read this, models with the Bull Rush skill should have suitably large bear bellies modeled out of putty whenever possible. It's a win. So for the skill list, just because of that, it's a solid A. Now lastly, for the Ostlanders, we're going to take a look at the Taal prayers, the spells that's available to the Priest of Taal. So I'm just going to go through them again quickly and say a little bit about them. We're going to start with Stag's Leap, 7 to cast. The Priest of Taal can teleport or jump to wherever he wants to within 9. He can also do that as a charge, and if it does, he gains a +1 to his strength for that round. If he engages a fleeing enemy, he will automatically hit with a +1 to strength, and the opponent flees again if he survives. Now, I like it, but for a model that's not really made for combat, can't wear any type of armor, is a bad weapon skill. Other than actually doing the last part of that, attacking a fleeing model, I wouldn't use it, but unfortunately you can't pick and choose the spells that you get in Mordheim, so it is what it is. It's decent, it's situational. Blessed Ale, that sounds more like something that is usable. Drinking a flask of Taal Blessed Ale, model with heal any one model within 2 of the priests. The warrior is restored to his full quota of wounds. In addition, any living models not under the possessed within 2 of the priest will lose 1 attack during the round of combat with the potent fumes of the ale going up their nostrils. Now this one is really nice, especially when we get into a later part of a campaign or a competitive event, when you have multiple wound models nearby. Obviously you can do this with the ogre in the warband, since he starts with 3 wounds. So if he's down to 1, you can just step right up and heal him up to full wounds. And this is not one-time use. I think this is, yeah, assumed to carry as many as you need. And you only need a 5 to cast. That is insane. So that is a really good spell. Bear Paw, difficulty 7. The priest invokes the blessings of Taal himself on a friendly model within 6. The target receives +2 strength until the priest's next turn. It's a very nice spell. Goes well with someone who obviously is in melee or is made for melee. Very good to cast on the ogre, because if you do that, he will be at strength 6. And if that's a spell that you get and you can change up equipment on the ogre depending on what you bought him. Equip him with 2 swords, he can parry, but he still strikes at strength 6, but then he doesn't necessarily strike last. It's a good spell. Earth Shudder, sounds like an earthquake. Spell targets a single building. Any enemy models touching the building, that includes inside and outside, will suffer a strength 3 hit. In addition, the building will collapse and model will count as having fallen to the ground, so don't be in the 2nd or 3rd or higher up story. If they fall, taking number of hits equal to the distance that they fell. I love it. I've played other warbands that does pretty much the same, and it's really fun just destroying buildings. You don't actually have to have stuff in the building to destroy it. You can just cast it on the building, remove it, and clear line of sight and stuff like that. So it's also a battlefield manipulation spell. I like it. Tanglefoot, 8 to cast. Small vines erupt from the earth. Anyone who moves through them, friend or foe, with the exception of Jaegers within 12. The priest has to move at half speed until the next shooting phase. Situational, again, but battlefield control, seeing a lot of that in this. It's a nice spell because it is pretty large area. I mean, within 12 of the priest, that is a 24-inch circle around him. So that is pretty darn good. Let's see, just double check that I didn't move that wrong. Yeah, so again, I like it. Last one. Feel like I'm playing Magic the Gathering here. Summon Squirrels. Casting difficulty 7+. With the spell, he invokes the Wrath of the Lord of Beasts, summoning for dozens upon dozens of enraged squirrels. The rodents attack one enemy within 12 of the priest, crawling inside the warrior's clothing and armor, pelting him with nuts and causing numerous tiny bites and welts. The target suffers 2d6 strength 1 hits, with no armor saves allowed. Now, strength 1 doesn't really sound like much, but when you can get 2d6 hits out of it, which let's say on average is 7, there's gonna be a 1 in there. Probably. That's at least the odds say so. If you no armor saves, that is really good, because you can have beefed up supermodels that will just go flat out dead to this spell. And again, not an insanely high difficulty on casting it. I like it. For the rituals or the spells of Taal in general, it's a solid A. It's one of the better spell lists, I would argue, in the game. And that covers the first 5 warbands of Let's Talk Mordheim's, Let's Talk Warbands section, with more to follow. In general, all the human warbands that we covered, the first 4, I would give them a solid B, because they are completely average at everything they do. The Ostlanders, I would put at a B+, because of their spell lists. The warband itself is slightly weaker-ish because of some of the henchmen that they have access to that are not really that good. But the spell list is really good. Unfortunately, the priest is not good, but I mean, you can't get everything. But a solid B+ for the Ostlanders. Now, keep in mind that this is all just my opinion. It's based on my gaming experience since 1999 of playing Mordheim. And I'm looking at stats, but I'm also looking at, is this fun? Because, again, Mordheim is about fun, not necessarily about just beating the other guy up. It's a bonus if you can do both. But take a look at what's fun. Look at the special rules, if they add any fun flavor and stuff like that. And if that warband also caters to something that you think is cool, like ranged or melee or magic or whatever, then more power to you. So that's it for me this time. Thank you for watching, and we will be back with more.
And we want to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Green Stuff World, for all your hobby tools, paints, and accessories needs. Fogel Pens and Creations, a dragon sword of cool woodwork items. And GameMat.eu. Turn your table into a real battlefield with first-class game mats.